Howdy, folks. Welcome to another cold edition of Supernatural Speak. It's cold as hell out here in Georgia, and I'm sitting on a porch smoking a cigarette. This is a special edition tonight. I have Bill, who is the director of the Australian Paranormal Society. He has graciously joined us on his morning or evening to sit down and talk to me and Todd and Leanne tonight. So I'm very thankful to have him. Y'all are going to love him. Hey, Angela. Hey, Vicky. Hey, Sherry. I told y'all I was going to have a good guest tonight, and I do. Bill, thank you so much for joining us. I know it's, like I said, morning time for you, so I appreciate it.
My absolute pleasure, Beth, and looking forward to having a chat. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, we're going to get you. We're so happy to have you in the future. Like I said, guys, we'll drop all the information for him. He'll tell you a little bit about his wife is an author. She's a very good author, and she's very knowledgeable. So we want you to check her out, too. So without further ado, we'll get started. Bill, I'll let you tell them a little bit about the Australian Paranormal Society.
For sure. Well, we're basically like, many other groups. We're a research, education, and basically out there helping people. So we conduct our research into different areas of the paranormal. We'll try different experiments and put our findings together a lot of the time just for us, rather than put it out there and such. But we do we collaborate with a lot of other groups. On the education side, we do a lot of lectures, a lot of talks, this sort of thing where we speak to people in different environments, local libraries, community groups, explain what we do, show evidence, etc. And work again, historical locations, things like that. We do these sort of talks to show people that we are normal people like you guys, like us. We're out there in the field trying to gather evidence that whatever it might be, whether it's be Bigfoot or ghosts or UFOs, we're out there trying to find evidence that these things exist. And then also we're out there helping people. So we conduct investigations that when people have problems, as we conduct a series of interviews, we conduct a series of tests, for want of a better word, to see if we're going to go forward. But I find the majority of the time, probably 80, 85, maybe more % of the time, we can just help these people with a phone call or even a sit-down chat before we go in and conduct a proper investigation. So we try to be quite open and to anyone that comes in and hear them out and then go forward from there. The society itself is divided really into two groups, where you have your technical people and you have your mediums and psychics and such, and each do their own thing, but they each work together. So when these guys find something, these guys hopefully can collaborate it, and we can use all these points of verification to bring out better evidence or great evidence. Yeah,
you got a lot. How large is your group?
It's not very large at the moment. We vary in size. At the moment, I've got probably about 10 people, but we collaborate and we have a network which is worldwide. So I have people over there in the States. I have people in the UK, people in Europe, Asia, etc., that we work with. And if we have cases come in, and we do have them come in from all over the world, I will contact one of our partner groups or one of the people we work with and pass that on to them. So then they can take the investigation in whatever direction they feel it needs to go. So
and see, I love that. I love to hear that. I mean, you've got people worldwide. Here in America, we can barely be nice to each other in the same state.
It's the same. Unfortunately, it's the same that they talk about para-unity, and I don't believe we will ever have that, because there are people in this field that are ego-driven, hate-driven. They want to be famous. They want this sort of stuff. And all I say to people is, build your group, build your area, your people, your network, and hopefully that, for whatever big word, love spreads. You know what I mean? And catches. Yeah. So people will find when they speak to us, or Mandy and myself especially, we're very open and we'll talk to anyone and we'll help anyone. But unfortunately, some people are in it for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? And there's that ego thing. But hey, all we do is we keep fighting, keep moving forward, one step forward to build the best paranormal community we can.
Yes, and then build great relationships along the way. I mean,
Exactly. You know, this sort of thing here, like you guys are awesome. You know, you guys have been great.
you.
And, before all this chat here, even talking to you guys, it's it's like I've known you for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're very fortunate. We have a very good family. We're part of the Midnight Wolf Pack, which is it consists of 3 different groups. And it's like you said, we have our people that are tech driven.
Yep.
And then we have our others that are some of us are more personal experience driven.
Sure.
And we're all in this together. And that's the great thing when you find people that we're not trying to be famous. We want to get the word out.
Exactly. That's exactly the same. That's exactly right. When you say personal experience,
Hey, we got a lot of people in here tonight. A lot of our family is in chat. Hey, Jason. Hey, Eileen. Megan's in here. Jay Paranormal. Thank you for joining us tonight. I mean, and like I said, when I talked to you the first time, you're right. It was like, I was like, wow, I feel like I've known him forever. It was a great.
When you're with good people with similar souls, and things like that, you link, you click up. Sometimes you'll get with someone or talk to someone and there's just not that connection. You know what I mean? It's very mechanical, very distant or cold. And, look, it might be nerves. It could be anything. So you need to give that, benefit of the doubt. But, you do feel difference. There's a difference between people that you do speak to. And that's in this field. That's really important because, I'm probably more tech driven and, but I do have a spiritual side. And I do believe that sometimes our spirit guides and that sort of stuff will show us things and make us feel things for a reason.
Yes.
I 100%. I agree with that.
Yeah.
You got to listen to yourself.
You do listen to your body. And, that's what I say. Amanda put up a thing on the page the other day, just, one of the things to get people to interact, what's your favorite piece of equipment? And, my standard answer is myself, because, trust what you feel and what you sense rather than, this gadget you're holding in your hand, it gives you good information, but it's, your body is the best barometer for anything.
I think we all agree to that. I mean, once you start learning to trust yourself, that's when it really starts.
Absolutely. It's really it needs to start with you, and then you can find bits of equipment that you like to use. But when you guys use yourself, when you start in the paranormal field, you want this, you want that, you want this, you want all the lights and things to go bing and bang and pop and light up, and that's understandable. It's excitement. As you go further along, what I found and what a big thing now is, I find people are focusing so much on their equipment that they're missing the environment and what's going on.
Yes.
I'll tell you a quick story if you got time. I did it. I run a tour at Arrowdale Asylum once a month, which was the biggest asylum in the Southern Hemisphere at one stage, and I had all these people there, they're investigators, and they all had these gadgets, Ovilus and K2s, Melmeters, all those sort of things. They're looking at them. And I said, put them away, right? Put them away, and we're going to stand here and we're going to have a look. So they stood there, and I said, observe the environment. And I was facing them, and I had these windows behind me, and within a couple of minutes, there was an apparition actually walked behind me, past 3 windows, and like 6 of these people watched this thing pass behind me. The others were off the side; they didn't see it. And I thought, what timing? What timing? Yeah. So it made my point that get your eyes off the gear, have stuff that records, and focus on the environment with your own senses. So that's a big.
And I think that's the biggest part.
Yeah, that's a big push for me at the that I in the way I work, the way I teach. So
yeah. I know when
that's a good thing too.
Yeah, I know when we ran tours at a location, and we would always tell everyone, if they're new at it, if they're seasoned investigators, like you said, put down the gear, look around them, and you would be amazed what you see. You would see shadow figures, just all kinds of stuff, and we would always try to teach people, just focus on the environment and get the feel of the environment. Walk down a hallway, feel that static charge that they had never felt before, and
you feel the environment, you can feel the differences, you can feel the changes, and you'll be there 1 minute and then it won't be there the next, and then get them to experience that and to and note it, so that later on when they pass through there again, it feels different. It feels the same. That's a really big part. I think that's a big part of what we do. Is learning to allow our bodies to be our guide.
Right.
Exactly. And in chat, we had some friends that posted something in chat about what other people think when you open yourself up. And it's one of those things to where I think we'd all be a lot better off if we put what other people thought about us aside. Or really didn't care about what other people thought about us, and go out and do our own thing and experience and share that experience with like-minded people.
Exactly.
And to just make things go a lot smoother.
For sure. I'm big for that. I'll speak to anyone about the paranormal, whether they're in the paranormal or they're not. Initially you're a bit these people are going to think I'm nuts. I don't care. I don't care. And I'll go to a place, and if there's if it's an old location, and even if they don't know, it could be an old shop, and I'll go in there and I'll have a chat with people, and it's how you speak to people. It's if I walk up and say, "Do you see ghosts?" They're going to think I'm nuts.
It's all in the approach.
And have a chat to them about the history, and then say, "Look, do you experience anything? Is there, do you think there's anything here, or whatever?" We might hand them a card, and we can go from there. So where I work for a local government, everyone knows what I do. So I'll have, and most of them are men because it's construction. So they'll come up and they'll tell me stories. These are macho guys that laugh with, "Oh yeah," but then they're all got experiences. So that's how you learn. That's how you get things off people. If they know you're into it, they'll come and eventually talk to you. So we need to be open.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
We're all on the same page. We're all looking for the same thing. It's hard enough being a human being.
Yes.
And you get judged for everything. And then you come across, they're like, "Oh, you're a paranormal investigator. Oh, you're a Satanist." No.
That's the thing. That's the thing where the education comes in. We don't sacrifice ghosts normally. Sometimes, no. But it is. They think or they see what's on the movies, what's on TV, and it's really Hollywood. I would say Hollywood has a lot to answer for. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sense of the way they put things. Yeah.
Yes. Because everything is not, and I think, I know Todd, Leanne, and myself can speak from experience. You've got people that come on tours or at locations where you're leading an event, and they think, "Oh, well, where's this? Where's that?" They do that on TV. This ain't TV.
Exactly. Or they come and they expect to see a spirit or have an experience, and I would say they're not trained puppies. Spirits aren't trained puppies. They will do what they want when they want. If they like you, they will interact. If they don't want
with who they want,
and sometimes you'll experience it, but the guy next to you won't, because they don't want them to. They
may not like them.
Yeah, exactly. So it's they're not trained. They're not trained to do tricks, and that's the big thing. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to see trained monkeys, go to the circus. If you want trained monkeys.
Exactly. I had not on my tour, on a friend of mine's tour, they lady wanted her money back because she didn't have an experience. So, you know, these are the people these are the sort of mentality you're dealing with, you know. So yeah, and then when they have an experience, they freak out. Yeah, they get scared. So
yeah. We've had that. Sherry, who is one of our family members, she's one of our biggest supporters. She was wanting to know if you could give an example of one of the craziest things that has happened to you or your team, and where it would be at.
Oh, for sure. I probably one of the craziest was at an old hotel called the Royal Melbourne Hotel, which was an old jail, police station with a jail in the back. We used to do a lot of tours there, and I had a guy working for me who was, I didn't realize at the time, but he was a bit dodgy. And he means underhanded, you know, he wasn't very nice, right? And if that didn't make sense, sorry, sometimes we use Aussie slang and people don't realize what we're saying. But anyway, we were doing a session, I think, with a spirit box, and we asked, you know, just a question. Someone asked a question: is there someone here you don't like? And it said this gentleman's name. And I'm standing back a little bit, watching around this table. We're in the cells area, sort of the open area. And all of a sudden, this gentleman's standing there. He's got a camera. His feet get pulled out from underneath him, and he flips completely upside down and drops on the ground. And he wasn't walking. He didn't trip. He didn't slip on anything. But his ankles were pulled out from under him.
Yeah.
You saw them like this. That was probably one of the craziest things I've seen. You know, most blatant.
Sorry about my animal.
Sorry. Why do you think one person out of the group would be targeted as opposed to someone else in the group?
Yeah.
What would be your thought on that?
Yeah, I think it was because these people realized he wasn't a good person. Simple. One of the things they did. There was actually a couple of them that we had them with us. Initially, when we interviewed them, they seemed like decent people. We checked them out; they seemed decent. But again, it was, you know, they were sort of had their own agenda and actually stole some ideas of us that we were working for the group. And, you know, went and registered names and things in their name rather than letting the group do it. There was business stuff. And anyway, I didn't know at the time, but this spirit did, or whoever it was, you know, when they said they didn't like him, that's why I think they didn't like him. You know what I mean? These spirits in this jail weren't bad. There was no negative spirits there. They were just most of them were just, but you know, they were benevolent. They were there for whatever reason. I know one spirit was there because it was a pub. It was actually a nightclub as well. And one of the cells, they would have like dancers on stage, and this cell is where the girls would get changed, right? So we didn't know this, and on our initial investigation, we were in this cell, and we contacted this spirit called Michael, and he loved my wife. My wife, he would always talk to my wife. And we asked him, you know, why are you here? And he said, the girls. And I didn't realize what he's talking about. So when I put the evidence together, made the presentation, went and saw the guy, one of the managers, I said to him, you know, this is strange. You know, we asked him why he's there. And he said, the girls. And he said, which cell? I showed him the cell. He starts laughing. He says, that's where all the dancers get changed. Right. So he's a bit of a pervert.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but he only died in recent times. He wasn't from the distant past, you know. So, but you know, most of the spirits here are good, and I think most of them liked us there because they interacted with us quite a bit. And I think they might have known that this gentleman wasn't a good man, and that's why they targeted him.
So spirits like strippers too. That's what we're going with.
Apparently, yeah, they went.
Hey.
Apparently.
If you died a man, you're still a man.
Well, you know, this gentleman was quite funny actually, because he, as I said, he would speak to my wife every time, like, you know, and they'd have marvelous conversations. But it was, the interaction was really good with him.
Sorry, I had to step outside because my dogs are acting like there's 100 things running through my house, like they've seen a spirit.
They
Hey, April.
Hey, April.
April, hey! April is my favorite psychic in the whole wide world, and she is the most awesome chick ever.
Awesome. Hello, April.
Yeah,
And
she
gets
is a
that
stripper ghost.
Here we go. It's actually still a nightclub there and a pub, and you know, if you're ever in Melbourne, we'll take you there because they do a really good meal.
Yeah.
It's just dancers, you know, like go-go dancers, that sort of thing. You know what I mean? I suppose you would call them. But I just found it hilarious. Like, you know, it's probably one of the funniest interactions we've had. You know, while we were there because of the girls. And, yeah.
I mean, look,
it still gets me.
That's one for the bucket list, Todd. We got to do like something that used to be a strip club.
Yeah.
We need to make that happen, just so you know. Yeah, Eileen was like, normally if I'm the only female around, I get used as bait. We only use newbies as bait. That's all we use newbie bait.
Yeah, gotta have bait.
Yeah, I mean, it's because some of them, like we've seen, like I'm not gonna lie, we've used straight up skeptics as bait. Oh, I don't believe nothing. Yeah, you're faking it. How am I faking it? I'm over here, dude. Like, there's no way.
I love a skeptic, especially because there's a difference. There's a true skeptic is neither here or there. They sit on the fence. You know, then you have those guys where are non-believers, complete non-believers. Doesn't matter what you present to them. You know,
right.
It's, you know, I love when those sort of people come and they actually have an experience. Well, one of the best I had was again at this hotel, and I had a husband and wife with me, and the husband was bored, like he wasn't into it at all, you know. And we're talking on the spirit box, and I said, "Can you say someone's name?" And it actually said this gentleman's first and surname, right? And I watched his face, and his mouth dropped open, and he went white, and then he just sort of the rest of the night he was just he was held onto his wife's arm and wandered around with us. And then at the end of the night, he shook my hand and he said, "You've changed my mind." You know what I mean? I said, I didn't do it. You know? So,
yeah.
But I love to see him run.
Yeah, we've actually had that happen. You know, skeptics, and you know, we've run what we'll do like a 360 EVP. So we'll have several people standing around us, and we'll ask questions, this very same question to each person, you know, each person that asked that question. And one night we were running an investigation, and it was a public investigation, and I had everyone ask the same question. Well, I went back to play the recorder back, and we get my full name, Leanne Hay.
Wow.
I mean, it is Class A EVP. Needless to say, that was at the very beginning of the night. And to hear that, and I just looked at everybody and I said, "Okay, I'm done. I'm done."
We've had similar. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
We've had similar experiences like what you're talking about, where we've had couples or groups come in, and somebody not be, you know, real into it, or see what they expect to see, or just be really bored. Yes. And you know, as lead, we try to get everybody involved, and we've actually had people, like you say, their name come across an EVP or a piece of equipment light up next to them, to where they'll excuse themselves and go sit in the car the rest of the night trying to figure out what happened to them.
Yes. I think that's great. You know, they get that interaction. They're not believers, and they don't, you know. And then they get that interaction and absolutely freak out. But I find a lot of the time, you know, I don't know where it's here, but you know, the wife will bring the husband along, only, you know, because they want to do it. She wants him to come along, and he's bored, you know, and then they get into it more than the wife does, you know. So I love that. I think that's fantastic. You know, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's what happened here.
We've had a couple of those situations where it started off, oh, I'm going to have a miserable time because he thinks this is crap and I'm crazy. And the next thing you know, she's the one sitting there like, nothing's happening. And he's running back and forth. Oh my God, did you hear that? Did you see that?
I think it's great. I think it's, just it opens people up a little bit, just a little thing.
Yeah.
Not so much, you know what I mean?
Oh,
yeah. One really good story I had. We have a historical village here up in a place called Ballarat called Sovereign Hill, and this lady, I've known her for a long time. She went to walk in to the bank, and there's an old safe there, and the safe's got something attached to it because anyway, this lady going to walk in, and she got pushed back. Right, she goes, something pushed me back, and the husband goes, oh, you're crazy, she's nuts, she's this and that. I did a lecture and I showed a photo of my now 18-year-old son, who was about probably 2 or 3 then, in front of this safe, and there's a man, like it's a smoky image, but it's a man and he's got a cap on, leaning over my son, right there. I showed this on the lecture, and they come up afterwards, and he goes, oh, I didn't believe her, but now I believe her. You know what I mean? Because there's something there, and I think that's great. When the couples eventually sync, you know what I mean, in some way.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's the most amazing thing, because we have witnessed that several times, and they'll come out of there thinking, what did I just see? The very next time they'll be, let's go back, let's go somewhere else and go see what we can find, and that I always say that one experience, that you question, and you want to come back, you got to figure out what that was. And it gets you hooked.
It does. It's, it really is just, it just has that little bit, a little hit to trigger something, and you're hooked. It's like, a lot of people just can't get enough, and they continually coming back. You know what I mean? I think someone's asked, I don't see all these things, but have I ever taken a spirit home with me?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, I once, what we normally do, let me explain, and you guys probably do similar. Before I do an investigation, I always protect myself. So I ground myself, or, use whatever protection that feels necessary before, during, and after, if necessary, always after. So normally I can leave the spirits where they are, which is where they should be. There was one occasion where I had some, where I had some people with me that were supposed to be experienced. They weren't experienced. We were cleansing a house, and I had furniture start moving. So I had this side table of a next to a bed start rocking back and forth and moving forward, and they panicked. So anyway, I finished what I had to do, finished the house, pulled them outside, cleansed them, grounded them, and for some reason I forgot to do myself. And I went home. Yeah, I went home. I woke up the next morning and felt like I'd been hit with an axe. Yeah. And for 3 days, I couldn't get out of bed. Doctors said, don't know what it is. It's a migraine. And it wasn't. I knew it wasn't. So I ended up having one of my psychic friends come, because sometimes, like, my wife's a medium, very good medium. All my kids have got that ability, but they're a little bit close to home for some reason, and it doesn't seem to work as well. So I pulled the medium in from somewhere else, and cleansed all this crap that this obviously got off the spirits that were there, and they were nasty, right? And took it off me, and I was fine within 45 minutes. I was up. It's just one of those, it's just one of those things. So that's probably in a sense, taking something home with me. But in our work, as you know, you do attract things. Mediums attract as well, because I believe they have like a beacon that will attract spirit, and they need to learn to shut that down. My wife actually wears a hat thing. When she doesn't want to work, she'll put that on, and the spirits know not to come and talk to us. So it sounds silly, but it works.
Right.
No, that's the way she has set boundaries.
Exactly. And my kids see spirits all the time here. They'll since they've been little, they'll tell me what they see, and that's how they've been raised to realize that spirits aren't nasty, not all of them. Right. And how to do their protections, how to look after themselves, so yeah, it's all good fun.
And I love that. I think they need to know
Yep.
as soon as they're old enough to understand how to be able to protect themselves.
For sure. Even when we do a house cleansing, we help someone there. We will teach those people how to, smudge their house or do whatever they need to do, and if there's little kids around or there's kids around, we will teach them some basics so that they feel empowered as well. Not necessarily on the nastier cases, because that needs to be dealt with, and that's, probably more business, in the sense of this needs to be done. When it's just a general, we'll teach people how to do stuff, because that empowers people and empowers these children, so they're not terrified.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that makes it worse, and it makes it easier for them to have problems if they have that fear.
Exactly. Fear attracts. Negative attracts negative. So
absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. We need to.
You're empowering.
For sure.
Empowering them to, just like I believe teaching your kids how to defend themselves. As soon as they're old enough to know how to defend themselves, they should know how.
100%. I agree. 100%. It's the physical and the spiritual. They do align in that set of senses. You're more really are more scared of the physical people than I am the spirit people. So but you need to be able to defend and how to deal with individuals.
It's kind of one of those things to where if you've had a bad day and you go into a location, the energy there is going to pick up on that, and it's going to pick on you. I mean, I've had firsthand experience at that, where I've had a bad day and things go south on an investigation. But I've also had the flip side of that, where I've had gone in with super positive energy and everything has been off the charts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's all how you go about it.
100% agree with you. It's it is how you go about it. If your state of mind, your energy, can affect. If you're not well, if you're not feeling well, I always tell people, if you're really not well, don't go out investigating, because some people, they love it and they want to do it all the time, and they want to go to different places. But there you go. If you're run down, or if your energy's down, or you're ill, you can open yourself up to some issues. You know what I mean? Not necessarily, not always, but all it takes is something nasty around that will see an opening and hit you. And it makes it worse. You might not get. I'm not talking about being possessed or anything. I'm talking about just they make you more sick, or they make you ill.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So,
and it's like, oh wait, let me say hey Denise, that's our other sister. Shannon,
hey Denise.
That's my other sister. David and Lisa, thank you so much for coming back and joining us tonight. I appreciate it.
Yes.
I remember that thing I told you about poor Todd having so much to keep up with.
Yep.
Well, Todd spends most of his time yelling at the women, "Why are you running over there?" Him and Ernie both. We're standing there watching them, and they're taking off running. They're running at it like, "Oh, look, there's a pterodactyl. I'm going to go ride it." I mean,
He's not lying.
I wish I was playing. Hey, look, there's like an 8-foot shadow man that looks like he's going to eat us all. Let's go be his friend. David and Lisa had a question.
Yes.
One of my sons claims spirits tortured him. The other son said spirits in the house were protecting him. The two boys never told each other. What would this mean? Well,
to me,
manipulation.
Manipulation. They're playing one against the other. Also, it depends on the boys' energies. It depends on the personalities. You have to look at all those sort of things. So some people will suffer, for example, if you suffer depression or mental illness, something along those lines, they might turn towards the negative. But to me, it does, as you said, manipulation. It's almost pitting one against the other. But they weren't speaking to each other, which is interesting. So they weren't getting, the spirit wouldn't have been getting a bit of that. So maybe what they were doing is picking up on the boys' different energy and reacting differently to the energy, but also it could be the way the children are perceiving these things. Do you know what I mean? Like torture, what in the sense of torture, what torture are they talking about? Is it scaring them, or is it actually physically hurting them? Is it, what sort of torture are we talking about when they say torture? So there's a lot of different.
It could be mental, it could be physical.
Exactly.
They could be, it could be the same spirit, like you said, telling one not to talk to the other one. There's so many different factors.
You need to sit down and you need to actually gather all the information from each of them, and then you try to put it together like this and try to find some sort of factor that will link how that work. Your guides and things will help you as well. But that's a big question. That's when you really get into that, how spirits treat. But also on the other hand, it's how the kids perceive it as well. And, depending on their ages and such. I know, for example, two people, could see the same thing or experience the same thing. One will hate it, one will love it. Do you know what I mean?
True.
So it's,
True.
The perception of what's going on as well. And as a child, human nature, we fear things, but as children, we fear more because we're young, we're scared, we're not big, brave, macho, adults. So, for one of yeah. So there's a whole lot of factors there that need to be looked at, and that's a big part of what our job is. I feel is to be almost detectives. We do a course here. I don't know whether you have it over there. It's called psychological first aid, and what it does is it allows you to identify. I'm not saying the kids have got mental illnesses, all right, but it allows you to identify mental illnesses, including depression and such. I'm lucky. I have some nurses and counselors working with us, so they can do that. But we do this anyway so that we can't diagnose these things, but we can identify them in our own investigation. And, just because someone has a mental illness doesn't mean they're not experiencing something paranormal. Right? You can't just say, "Oh, mental, not paranormal." There still needs to be an investigation. But what I'm saying with the children is that's the psychological side of things is it will change from one child to another. So if one's experiencing something and doesn't like it, the other one might be experiencing similar thing and it doesn't affect them. So we need to look at a whole range of things in that scenario.
Yeah, I think what Lisa and David just put, it makes sense. She said your information has already answered a piece of it. The one tortured ended up in lots of time in jail. The other ended up successful. They fought a lot growing up. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. It's children. I mean, I have 5 children myself. 4 sons and a daughter, right? 2 older, and then I have an 18, a 15, and an 11-year-old at home. Now, and kids, you guys probably got kids, and the kids do argue, but some kids just tend to clash more. I know my 11 and my 15-year-old tend to clash, right? But I also know that they defend each other. You know what I mean? So it's hard. But if you've got spirit and you've got energy that are manipulating, it can push people to different paths. You know what I mean? It can make them go different ways. I do believe that, and I do believe some people go down a negative path where they might end up in jail for doing something that they probably normally wouldn't have done if there wasn't that interference. So
if they weren't influenced in some way,
exactly
to do.
Exactly.
I mean, you never know. I mean, and that's the thing about it. You don't know. There's so much we don't know, and that's why we're all doing what we're doing, so we can find out. Like, that there are no experts in the paranormal field. None. There's not one.
100% agree. I always say there's no experts, but there are people with a lot of experience, and that's the difference. As soon as you stop learning, you think you know it all. You think then you might as well just give up because you're gonna be stagnant. You're gonna die, and metaphorically. It's it's just one of those things, like you can never stop learning. And, with this case there, you would really need to sit down and go through gather as much facts as you can, line them up in some sort of linear fashion, to see, and you need to speak to each of the kids, get their interactions. It's a big process, but looking at the facts as presented just now, you can assume that, these possibly pull down different paths to each other for whatever reason spirit intended. It's so hard to tell.
Yeah. We have a good friend named Billy Sims, and we call him Epic Beard Guy.
Oh.
And Sherry thinks you'd be a perfect fit for our Epic Beard Guys.
Oh, this used to be a lot longer.
Yeah.
My wife,
As you can see, Todd has one.
He does. I was going to.
Well, there's also Beard Paranormal here in the States.
Yep.
We tend to.
There was a few girls in there the last time I saw. I was a bit worried about that.
Yeah.
But no, my wife has long blonde hair, and she said, "If you cut your beard, I'll cut my hair." I said, "So I'm keeping the beard, yeah."
Yeah. Well, Todd keeps threatening to cut his beard.
Yeah. Keep the beard. Keep the beard.
And it keeps you warm.
Those.
Yeah. And then if you're bored, you can braid it. You can do so much with a beard.
You can. My one used to be sort of down halfway down on my belly, and Mandy used to plait it just for fun. So there you go. That's something I never saw.
And you got to remember, a lot of times back in the old days, the length of a man's beard lets you know how dangerous he was.
Oh, really?
And it intimidated the people you were fighting. They saw the beards and they were like, hell no. We do not want any parts of them. So
I suppose the older you are, the longer your beard gets, the longer you've lived through battles. So
that too. Sherry was wondering, does your team like to go into a lot of locations blind?
Yeah.
Or do you like to compile first?
No, I tend to. Well, I might do some research myself. Simply, on a couple of levels. One, so I just have a rough idea for planning, but also I like to check the location out for occupational health and safety. So you were not going to walk up a staircase that's going to collapse and kill half the team. It's too hard to replace them. That's what I'll do. Most of the guys won't know a lot about. If it's a historic location, we probably know anyway. About it. But with the mediums as such, we don't give them any information. They go in completely blind. A lot of time they won't even have an address. And if they're driving themselves, I'll get the address when they're about to leave the location to go there. So we try to keep them as blind as we can. But yeah, I do tend to do some research myself, so I can basically more plan than anything else.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I myself, Leanne does too. A lot of us, if we can go blind, I prefer to, but for I do have knee problems. So in some situations, we do need to know if it's going to be a hazard for me to be there or
exactly. And it's something like that. You got to come home the same way as you went is the way I look at it. You don't come home with a broken ankle or a broken arm or something. So especially, you've got a team under, your team members, which are your friends as well, family in some cases, and
yes,
both spiritual and, actually, and you want people to go home safe. So I think there's a big responsibility in the paranormal to follow some sort of occupational health and safety, guidelines. So we make sure these places. Yeah.
Eileen Jones hit on it. Real important thing.
Yeah.
It's important to know your team.
Oh, sure.
Know how to read the personalities of your team. Know when to get somebody out of a situation. That's one of the things that weighs real heavy on our team. That's one of the things we take to heart.
Yep.
I mean, even our extended family, when we go on an investigation together,
yep,
we all have a role, and we all know what our role is. And that's very important for an investigation.
100%. I agree 100%. The thing is, if you're going in with people you're testing maybe to be part of the team, or you're, people you don't know, you need to have a location that's, for want of a better word, safe. You know what I mean? One that's not going to give you, is not going to give you issues. Like we have a couple here that are really, I call them beginner sites. So, I'll take, if people have never done anything before, we'll take them there. So that, but if you're in a situation, even a private residential case that might be nasty or aggressive, you need to know your team, as you said, and watch each other. So when to pull someone out. When to, you've had enough. Go outside, go over, ground yourself, go over, smoke, whatever you want. You need to know, as you said, everyone has their job, and you need to know that. And it is. Someone just said, we're not a team, we're a family. Denise, sorry.
That's our sister. That's our sister. Yeah.
And that's the same with us. The guys that that I have a family. And I would never let them get hurt. So that's a big thing. But you do need to look.
I won't say I'm overprotective.
I will.
Yes, yeah, I'm like that. I'm very, very protective of them. I'll watch them. I noticed we did some experiments a while back, and we were doing a Gansfeld experiment, and I had an associate of us on the chair, and I saw a photo, and I was sitting there, and I was just focusing ready to grab them, to pull them out. And I didn't realize how intense that look on my face was while I'm watching them, because I didn't realize what was going on elsewhere. I was just 100% focused on them. And I thought, yeah, okay. Then I thought about it, and I thought, well, yeah, I was worried for her, because she's not really spiritual a lot. And I thought, this is when you're going to get hit, you know what I mean? And yeah, so
yeah,
there was an intenseness, for want of a better word, there that I'd never noticed in myself. You know what I mean? So yeah, you do become overprotective, and I don't think that's a bad thing.
Yeah. I think we all are overprotective over each other.
Which is
he was doing the Estes method and at a location here that's pretty well known, and he was really deep into this Estes method, and when we were trying to get him back out, he hesitated,
really?
wouldn't respond, and I thought nearly 3 of us were going to tackle him.
Wow.
To get him, to come, to pull himself out of it, because you do get overprotective.
Oh, you have to be. I think sometimes you have to be. There are, there's dangers out there that people don't realize. They need to be.
Yeah, but I think it can be done without giving me a concussion.
Look, I never body slammed you. Let's hope that never has to happen.
Oh no.
I'm just I'll be honest with you, Bill. There's a little. I'm kind of known for my mixed martial arts capabilities during investigations.
Going the brawl and sprawl and EVP session all at the same time, yeah?
Pretty much. I've done a few things that are kind of, parathug. That's right. They call me the parathug.
The parathug. I love it.
Yeah, a little special. Yeah, I'm a little special. Yeah, but and like you said, we all have our special, like our experiments that each one of us likes the best.
Yeah.
Leanne is the Estes queen.
Awesome.
We do the human pendulum sometimes.
Yeah. Yep. Oh wow, that's a good a good session. I like that.
It's a little.
Can I ask you about that real
I mean,
quick? When you do the human pendulum, do y'all ever do it like sound deprivation or anything like that?
No, I haven't, but that's actually not a bad idea.
We've actually done it. I mean, I know you can't do it blindfolded because that'll naturally
balance. Yeah,
tilt
yeah,
you one way or the other.
yeah.
But we've actually done it with the sound canceling headphones.
I like that. That's yeah. Do you run what noise do you run? Do you run noise through or anything?
White noise.
It's either white noise or just well, it's just white noise really.
Yeah, just black. Just yep.
And then they can't hear us ask the questions or anything, and it actually worked perfectly that time we did it that way.
Yeah, I haven't actually thought of that. That's really great. You know, that's what I'm saying about we're always learning. So, guess what's getting tried this time we do this?
Yeah.
There you go. Great.
yeah.
But you know, I actually really like the session. I actually learned that from some friends of mine over in the UK. Paranormal Friends is a group. It's called. They run tours and they do a lot of the table tipping and a lot of that sort of stuff. So we've had some great experiences with that. You know, it's an interesting experiment. It is.
Yeah, and I didn't believe it. You know, Richard Estep, he was the one who taught me how to do it. He at the place that we used to run investigations. He was there for a week, and he thoroughly investigated this location, and he said, I want to show you, this certain experiment. And I didn't believe. I argued. I said, this is not going to work. There is no way this is going to work. And and when you actually do it, and it's amazing because you don't expect to be manipulated, in any way.
Yeah, it's a strange feeling. It's a very strange.
Hey, Josh.
Yeah, it's very strange, and we teach different investigators that and I said just go somewhere and try it, but do it the right way.
Sure.
Make sure it's in a safe environment, and I've also told them don't do it in a place where it's there's extremely negativity, somewhere like that. Be safe about it.
Exactly. You don't want to open yourself up when there is that sort of negative side of things around. You need to protect yourself properly there. But it is interesting. I really like it. Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah.
And there's so many different experiments that you can learn from people.
Experiment.
Yes, that Mike was talking about.
Definitely want to try that.
Which one? Sorry.
Yeah, I actually need to call Mike tonight. Mike from Midnight Paranormal Society, who he's out of San Antonio, Texas, and the other night he was talking about the cell phone experiment,
right?
Where you 2 cell phones, and his example he gave was you put one upstairs in the attic next to a voice recorder, and you call and go outside with the other one.
Yes. Yep. We do that.
Have you tried that?
We do that with 2-way radios.
We heard them talk about that too.
So what we do is we'll have, depending on how many we've got, we've got a couple of different sets. So some have 4, some have more. But say you had 4, so you would have 1, and you put 3 out there in different locations with voice recorders, and then you do your thing there. So you'll get simultaneous recordings in these locations. So it's interesting. Yeah, it's a similar sort of thing. Yeah. So
we want to try that.
Yeah, no, that is interesting. Yeah, we did that at a few times. Well, we've done it a few times, but the first time I did that was at Airedale Asylum. So we put it through a few buildings, and we had some interesting. Not a lot of responses, but strange noises, things like that. You know what I mean? Because it was the first time we did it, but it worked. It worked. Was interesting. Piqued my interest.
Yeah,
definitely.
But that's what it's all about: is sharing everybody's ideas and experiments. You never know what you can come up with.
You never know. That's the thing. And you can take something and take part of it and put it, create your own sort of another branch of what that is, which is what we do a lot. You'll see something and you'll change it to fit what you want to do. You know what I mean? So, and that's
You
really
put your own
interesting.
twist on it.
Exactly. You make
Now,
it your own.
Sherry brought up my question that I was going to ask. If there was any place in the United States that's on your team's bucket list.
Oh yeah, I've been lucky. I've been to the States twice, so I've done Gettysburg a couple of times, which I loved, and I had some fantastic experience there. We stayed at the Fairfield Inn, and I had some great experiences in the whole location. Even during the day, we were out in I think might have been the wheat field, and there's like a little path, and I was on there filming. And I heard two men walk up behind me, and I went to get out. They were talking. I went to get out the way, and there was no one there. So, you know what I mean? Like that. But no, it was great. I had, I got the second time I was there at the orphanage down in the basement in the little cave thing. I didn't feel anything, and I went back to my room, and I've taken my socks off, and I had a bite mark on my leg, a size of child's teeth, so I got bitten on the leg by a child. But the first time I was there,
great.
I was down in the basement on my own. I'm recording, and I'm doing nursery rhymes, and I said, come, join in, finish it off for me. So I sung a certain amount, and they didn't finish it, but there was children laughing. There was a few children laughing. I could hear, on the recorder. But I had great experiences. The Fairfield Inn had something walk past my bed, heavy boots. There's a whole story with that too. I had battle drums at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Women talking, just so much things. Jenny Wade House, we had some great stuff. We actually had an ovilus that said Jenny Wade, and that's not in the, it's not in its repertoire, but it said. What did it say? It went something along the lines of bread, because she was baking bread. I think she was 21. It said her age, and then it actually stopped for a second. And then it said Jenny Wade, and that was awesome.
Wow,
that's
very
cool.
And then that was down in the basement. And then all of a sudden, this basement, this is 3, 4 in the morning, whatever it was, filled up with the smell of fresh bread. So, and then it was there for about 30 seconds.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, so it was really cool. So I had a lot of experiences there. It was great. So that's one of my favorite locations. But yeah, look, I'd love to hit Waverly Hills. I've been to Alcatraz. I've been to San Antonio. Spent a lot of time in San Antonio there. The Kling brothers are pretty good friends with them. So done a road trip. Done a road trip to New Orleans with Brad. And that was fun, from San Antonio to New Orleans.
Nice.
New Orleans, I'd love to spend a lot more time there.
It's great. I love New Orleans.
I love it, mate. We spent basically 3 days there, 2 full days. So but we were planning to come over, myself, the kids, for a visit, and the end of last year, and unfortunately with COVID and everything, it went to crap, and it looks like it's probably going to be a couple of years till we can actually get over there with all this stuff going on. So, and COVID and such. So. But yeah, there's a lot of places, Waverly Hills. As I said, I'd love to check that out. But there's
I know a guy. I know a guy.
You know a guy?
Yeah.
He just happens to be our brother, and Denise, that is in chat, our sister.
Right.
Mr. Ernie Pack. He was a guide at Waverly Hills for many years. So if you want to know about Waverly Hills, I'll introduce you to my brother and sister, and let you talk to them.
No, that would be fantastic.
And we're going to be waiting for you. If I got to wait 2 years to see you, I'm just going to have to wait 2 years. But when you get here, we're all going to hang out.
Yes.
No, I love the States. I really do.
Ernie Pack, he said, who? You know who we're talking about, brother.
They're cheeky over there, I hear. No, I had such a good time. First time I went on my own, I got invited over to Gettysburg there, which was great. And Gettysburg has always been a dream of mine. You know what I mean? And I love that place. And the second time I took my now 18, he was 13 or 14 then, and he had a blast. Like, it was just, we went and saw a high school football game, and and just it was just great. We had such a wicked time. I think we enjoyed the food as much as we enjoyed the locations. So
there's so much stuff here that I haven't even got. Like, my bucket list is Tombstone.
Tombstone would be great. Yep. There's so many locations. Like, just love to spend a year just driving around to all these locations and just checking them all out. And I have to wait till we win the lottery.
Yes. That's when you do paranormal road trip and just get an RV.
I already said I'll be over there. I'll buy an RV, and we'll travel from one side to the other and visit all.
Once I can get on the plane, I'm coming to Australia. Hey, Midnight Wolfpack team field trip.
Get together. Come on over.
Let's go. Where y'all going? Going to see Bill. You're gonna fly the plane, Todd? Really?
You said you can't fly. I'll drive the boat.
I'm not getting on a boat.
It's a long way on a boat, but welcome. Come, we'll have a blast. Always. I
don't know. I like you. I don't want to do that to you. At this point, we might be a lot of. Yeah, you might not like me after that. We're all kind of crazy.
Well, Denise gave you the answer. She said snakes and spiders. No.
I've already talked to him about it, Denise. It's good. It's good. I already talked to him about the snakes and stuff.
It's all good. It's all good. They only kill 1 or 2 people a day. It's all right.
The only thing we have to make sure that Leanne and I know before we go, Leanne, as much as I know you and I would love to bring home a koala bear.
Oh, yeah. Yes, that or a kangaroo.
No.
We can't. We can't.
Cannot.
Stuffed toy. Kangaroos will beat you up. They're dangerous, man.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get my ass whooped by a kangaroo. No.
They're more dangerous than snakes, I reckon, of them. But no, we do have these poisonous snakes. We do have these poisonous spiders, but and big ass sharks, yes. But you know what? As I said, I've probably seen a couple of dozen snakes in my life, and they always run away. They don't want to fight. So,
I'm still laughing at Miss Sherry. Miss Sherry said Australia has big ass sharks too. Eek.
That's true. Just out of the water.
We comes back with dingo. Oh, she's got a Wendigo, Denise. No Wendigos.
No Wendigos. No.
Well, you don't want Wendigos, no.
No.
It's a
I mean,
country.
and that. Well, in what part do you live? I forgot.
I live in Victoria, which is down the bottom. There's Victoria, then you go over the bit of water, and there's Tasmania. I'm down the bottom there, yeah. So, and I live I'm sort of out of Melbourne a little bit, and across from me there's right behind through this window behind me. If you look across the road there's forest, and we have kangaroos coming to feeding on our front lawn. Echidnas, porcupines, they come down.
Nice.
Yeah, but as I said, even with that, I haven't seen a snake here, so not at all. So
Leanne, it's perfect.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Let's go.
Yeah.
We can have kangaroos in the front yard, people.
You can literally open my front door, and 4 or 5 feet away there'll be a kangaroo eating my grass. So, you know what I mean? So it's
nice.
Yeah, nice, mate. It's a great country. It really is. There's a lot to see. Like I said, I love the States. You guys have got so much there. Like, wow, just to you need a lifetime to take it all in. So but people feel they feel the same about Australia. And there's a lot to see here too. Welcome, anyone, come on over, give us a yell. Hey, we'll organise some investigations and stuff. So everyone's welcome.
I started watching.
Careful.
Okay, so I'm not really a girly girl by far. I play Call of Duty. I like drag racing. and
Fair enough.
UFC. But I started watching Australian TV channels because some reason I got caught up on Love Island Australia.
Oh, no.
And I was watching it, and the whole time I'm mad as hell because I'm like, where the hell are the kangaroos?
Oh no. No, there's another one. I don't watch them, but there's another one. Was it Farmer Wants a Wife or something like that, where they have these farmers. You know, like we're talking.
Yes.
You know, well, you know what, like a ranch farm up in Texas is, how big they are. They're like, 40,000 acres or something. These are the same. You know, these are huge. These farmers live out in the middle of nowhere, and then they want to get a wife, so they have this show. They find them a wife, but they find them these, like these girls, that love the city. You know what I mean? So it's just chaos. It's madness.
We have some horrible reality TV over here in the United States that make no sense.
Australia copies all you guys.
No, I'll be honest with you. I like most of the Australian stuff better. I'm like, the content. I like it.
But we, our free-to-air channels are, we've got like 5 free-to-air channels, 5 or 6. You guys have got so much TV, man. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I watch a lot of overseas stuff anyway. I watch mostly, BBC, Ireland, Scotland, Australian TV, and it's because I get tired of the same old crap here, and it's something different.
It is different, and I like that. There's a lot of good stuff out there. I would say I love the days when I was sitting in the hotel room. I had the television going, and they had a commercial on for some sort of medication, and at the bottom, may cause death.
Yes.
I've never seen that before. That tickled my funny bone. I thought, I've never forgotten that. That's so awesome. May cause death. I'll take a chance. So like,
Hey, don't take that shit. Don't take that.
What was that? Sorry.
I said full disclosure is a thing.
Yeah, massive.
Yeah, very much so.
Never seen that before, and I thought that was pretty awesome. I thought that was fantastic.
Well, Sherry wants to know if there's any U.S. paranormal stars or celebrities that you like or look up to. No, Sherry, Nick Groth is mine.
Look, I really, as I said, I'm good mates with the Kling brothers. Brett and Barry. They've come over here, spent time with us over here. I've been over there a few times. We talk quite a lot. They're good guys. I love Ben Hansen. Ben Hansen, a cool dude. He's we've had him here a few times, and he is a good gentleman. Look, I have respect for all those guys. Anyone out there doing this sort of stuff, they work. They work hard for what they do. And excuse me, I really do have a lot of respect for the people that are, that are out there pushing the field.
Absolutely.
But
now I'm fighting with Sherry. Sherry, I love you. No, Nick's mine. I'll fight you, woman. Para-thug.
Every other day. Right. Mixed
we have
custody.
so much fun, and that's why this is why I do this show.
Yeah.
I get to talk to people I normally wouldn't get to talk to. I have a good time, and it is what it is. And I wish other people thought, this was a good idea.
It's good fun, mate. And this is what some people. You got to have a bit of a laugh as well as your serious side. You got good people like you guys. I can see you're passionate about what you do. The whole lot is, and I love that. There's everyone doesn't have to think alike. And I think that's really good because when you start seeing how other people do things, you might say, hey, that's interesting. I'll do that, or I'll have a go at that, or you might say, but you guys are doing an awesome job, so keep doing what you're doing. So that's all I can say.
Thank you.
Elvis, we will fight over you, okay? Elvis, oh my God, he's mine. I love Ernie Pack. Hold on, let me get some underwear to throw. Leanne, throw your bra at Ernie.
Yeah.
I thought it was Eric. Eric Pumpernickel.
He's Ernie Pack tonight.
Oh, okay.
Or Elvis.
Oh no.
And this is and it's all about truly having fun. None of us are going to get rich off this.
It's not the point. It's it's having fun, building the field, research, gathering evidence. But you got to have a laugh along the way. If it's all serious, there's no joy. You need to have joy in what you do in life. Even your day jobs. If you don't like what you're doing as a day job, it makes every day hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're just miserable.
Oh, I'd love to do this for a day job.
What's that? Sorry?
I said I'd love to do this for a day job.
Yeah, me too. Like, I mean, you would just be doing what you love, and that's the thing. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But
especially if I can surround myself with the people that we have in this organization, this family, that would be that would be a dream.
And that's it. You're working with the people that you enjoy being with, working with people you love. It's it's not work then, is it? You know what I mean? It's not work.
Right.
And just think, we have family in Australia now, guys.
Right.
Welcome to the family.
Eileen, we're not going to be millionaires, honey, but we're going to have fun while we're broke.
That's right. Exactly.
Bill, please be careful what you ask for from this group.
Oh my God! No, you guys are awesome. I love you guys, and I think you guys are awesome. Bee's knees, mate. Bee's knees, as we say.
Well, I'm glad you had time to join us. It's been a pleasure. Guys, everybody, I want you to make sure you go on over to the Australian Paranormal Society. Give them a like. Don't send Bill too many friend requests, ladies. He is married, and his wife is an author, and she will beat you to death with one of her books.
She has mafia blood in her. No, but if you're interested, this is just to give Mandy a bit of a plug. She has a couple of books out. One's From the Mind of a Medium, which is the first book. It's all a spiritual sort of side of things. And then there's Ghosts, My Personal Encounters from a Haunted Life, which is all about the stories from like a 2-year-old through to her nursing. Great stories, even knocks me on my butt from the things she's experienced. So, if you're interested, send us over a message. I'll get you a link. But come and say hi. Welcome. If you're in Oz, give us a shout. We're really open to helping people out and meeting new people and, building the field. And these guys are doing an awesome job. And I want to thank you for having me on. You guys are killing it. I'm loving you guys. So, we're really wrapped at, we've made contact with you guys. So,
well, and we're going to keep that contact going. I guess we'll tell everybody good night, and then I'll end the live, and then we'll talk back behind the scenes. Everybody, I love each and every one of you that come out and support me and Midnight Wolfpack every week. We really appreciate the support. We hope that we're making an impact in your lives, whether it be personal, paranormal, or not. We love to hear from y'all, and I can't thank you enough for helping our platform succeed and our shows. So we love y'all. We hope everybody has a good night. I'll see y'all Monday with a new guest. Y'all take care.